If you look back on your life, what would you say was the hardest period for you to go through? And how did you overcome it?
Well, my dad dying was the hardest part for me and Andrew to go through ever. But what you have to understand with things like that is you don't actually have a choice. People say this all the time, like, how did you deal with that? It's like, well, what was my alternative? Bring him back to life? There is no way out of it. So you can either, and people say this all the time, oh, my mother's got cancer, she's going to die in 6 months. What do? I say enjoy the next 6 months with her. As much, like, there are lots of situations in life where your hands are tied. So with dad dying, it was a simple matter of, okay, you can let this destroy you, which is an option, and people do this all the time, drink themselves to death, I don't know, start cutting themselves, whatever stuff people do to cope with difficult situations. Or you can be sad anyway, because you're sad either way, and work 18 hours a day. And in fact, I said that the time I was working the most, when I was around 27, 28, I think he died when I was 27. So you can work 18 hours a day, not let anything distract you, and stay focused on the mission, so that way you have less time to think about it, and you could be sad while you're working. And then, you know, when you start to come to terms with everything, you've got millions of dollars, as opposed to, oh, I've come to terms with everything, but I'm in a rehab clinic. So I think that bad things are going to happen to your life. And everyone watching, this is the sad truth of it. Your parents are going to die too, before you. I mean, most of you. So that is going to happen. So I didn't really see why it was difficult. As much as it was unpleasant, I don't think it was difficult because there isn't a way out of it. So that's the best way I can describe it. You could be a sad winner or a sad loser. So go and win every day. I guess everybody takes it differently, but I've never been the type to, you know, mope about, be depressed, complain. Yeah.
If anything bad happens in my life, I just get on with it. And I think I can thank my dad for that, because he's been an amazing role model. Because when I was 11, I lost my mother. Yeah. So he lost his wife. He also lost his brother, who committed suicide a couple of years after that. Didn't have any parents. So he'd gone through a lot of shit, but he never complained. He was always very positive, always did whatever he could for me and my brother. And because I could see that every single day, that he was very strong, never saw him cry, never saw him weak, that made me think, well, that's how I need to be as well.
And it's true. And your dad's the man. Shout out to him, because what choice did he have? If he had played it another way, it wouldn't have brought his wife back, but it would have viewed the way his sons saw the world, and it would have viewed the way his sons cope with trauma and bad things happen to him in a very negative way. So he did exactly the right thing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, no, credit to him.